Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and all those other places that you can find our program. And we have on the phone with us today Marvin James. Marvin James is the sports director for WMAZ TV out of Macon, Georgia. Marvin, former college football player himself. He's been in the sports business, television sports business now for quite a few years. He's an experienced guy. And right now, he's in Los Angeles, California, as he's covering the Georgia Bulldogs as the Bulldogs prepare to take on the TCU Horned Frogs for the national championship on this coming Monday night. So, Marvin, it is good to have you on our program. How are things in perhaps sunny Southern California?
Yes, sir. It's not too bad. I guess the weather is almost mirroring the same as Georgia is right now, which is a little weird, but it's not too bad. The sun is shining. People are excited. A little break in action right now. We had media day this morning with both TCU and Georgia, and then we have practice this afternoon at about 3:30, 4 o'clock. So the things are going well right now.
Yeah, I tell you, here in South Georgia, middle and South Georgia, it is an absolutely gorgeous day. I mean, the sunny blue skies and kind of warm temperatures. So I'm glad you took some of this good weather to, Los Angeles. But, you expect Los Angeles to have good weather. You expect it. Now,
Absolutely.
you're there covering, obviously, this game for the University of Georgia. The second year in a row that you have been on the road to cover the Georgia Bulldogs playing for the national championship. Last year, Indianapolis, quite a different weather situation for last year from this year. Just tell me your emotions as, how often does a team get to play for a national championship to start with? But now 2 years in a row, what are you thinking as you look forward to this game on Monday night?
It's truly a blessing. I think that's the thing about it. When you get a chance to cover a team like Georgia, it's not only the players and the fans that get to be blessed by this opportunity, but the media that get a chance to cover these games. The folks that are selling, the vendors that get to sell Georgia paraphernalia. It's just a big time opportunity for everybody. So yeah, absolutely. Just to see, in such a short time, what Kirby Smart has been able to do with this Georgia football program, which was already in good hands when he got it from Coach Rick, but what he's been able to level up and bring them that much more into the national limelight. These kids, we talked to them today at Media Day, and they're just so excited, to really understand, you yourself being a longtime fan, people who have been fans for 30, 40 years, it's probably even a bigger deal for them as compared to these younger guys that are playing on the team. But either way, it's still a big deal. And I think it's just, to hear Georgia in the national limelight and getting some of the attention that they deserve is just really great to see.
I tell you what, and now you're there. You were there for media day today, and then obviously what that means is you get to talk to some of the players, interact with some of the players and coaches from both teams. Give me your impression of media day. What was that like, and what impressed you from both teams from media day today?
And that's one of the things I was talking to my colleagues afterwards, because we do this all the time. We talk to the players, but to be in this big limelight, you get to see them in a different limelight a little bit because, it's kind of relaxed. Sometimes this is your first opportunity to have people that are available to you that you haven't talked to in a long time. Max Duggan, the quarterback over from TCU, was just a great kid. I mean, he seems like he's very positive, full of life, and he's excited about their opportunity and their chances. The Sonny Dykes story, obviously, on the other side, where TCU went 5-7 last year, and now they're playing for a national championship. It was great to hear that. But on the home team front, just to see Nolan Smith Jr. walking around there, kind of still nursing his injuries a little bit. He's not playing, but just to see how he was so excited. He had his camera around. And he was, talking to the players and interviewing some of his teammates and having a good time. I talked to a lot of the guys about a couple of things that, not having the tailgating on Monday night. Not SoFi is not allowing that, and they were like, tailgating in football in the South is like a religion. So just getting their opinion on that. So it was good to see that, and good to see these kids, and like I said, on a big stage, and being able to share so much of what brought them there, and represent their families and their hometowns. So that is always good to see.
Yeah, we did watch some of it on television, some of the media day on TV, and these guys. Yeah, I tell you what, for me, as I look at this game, obviously Georgia is a big favorite, 2 touchdown favorite over TCU. We'll see how that plays out, but I I
Absolutely.
I got to think, with Georgia being there last year, a lot of the guys, of course, returning from the team last year for Georgia. Do just from your perspective, is how big of an advantage is it that Georgia now is in this game for the second year in a row over and above TCU, which was 5-7 last year, scheduled or are picked to be seventh in their conference this year. All of a sudden,
Yeah.
they're on this stage. Does experience count a lot in a game like this? What do you think?
I think so. I mean, you could just tell the mood from the media day when TCU was out there. They were really lighthearted and bubbly and excited, obviously, because this is their first time. So they were their energy was a lot different. Just them coming in. I wouldn't say that they weren't locked into their business and they weren't focused, but they were a little relaxed. More relaxed. Georgia came in, it was more like we've been here before. It was more like a business meeting. It wasn't. I mean, of course, they were smiles and laughter. I don't want anybody to misconstrue what I'm saying, but it was more like, hey, we got a job to do. We know what we got to do, and this is what we're gonna do to take care of business. So, so yeah, I think that experience has a lot to do with it. I talked to Javon Bullard. Everybody may know everybody knows who Javon is. Obviously, there's a Georgia fan. He's the guy that had a big knockout hit in the Peach Bowl game. But and I was talking to him a little bit, and I was asking him like, hey, last year you played in this game, you were a special teams guy. You played kickoff and punt return. You know, now you're starting on the defense. And he was like, yeah, but I'm going to sleep the same way I did every other time because this is a team game. So they've been coached up very well on that front from Coach Smart and their teammates. I just think that these guys really, really know what's at stake, and I think that definitely is going to play in their favor on Monday night.
Yeah, Marvin James with us, news director, or sports director rather, for WMAZ TV in Macon, Georgia. He's in Los Angeles, and he's covering, of course, the championship game on Monday night for WMAZ. What about on the injury front for the University of Georgia? Darnell Washington had that injury in the Ohio State game. Chaz Chambliss had the shoulder injury. Robert Bill Jr. He had a situation with some cramps. Did you gain any information on the injury front for Georgia? How is all that looking?
I got to tell you, two guys specifically that I noticed and talked to today, and actually watched them because I was kind of stalking them a little bit to see how they were doing. And that was the Lab Akonki. He was hurt a little bit, and he played in the actual Peach Bowl, so he looked like he was, in his typical normal self. Obviously, he wasn't running routes, but he looked to be in good spirits. He was walking clean. And Darnell watched it. I got to tell you, he was walking around talking to everybody. They did a big segment on some of the larger guys on their team. So they talked to Darnell and Marius and a few in about an hour, a couple hours or so. So we'll be able to tell the difference then. But I feel good about him. McClendon also was there and walking in good spirits and that good nature. I didn't get a chance to see Chambliss, but Kirby's never going to let that part out, so
Right.
we don't really know what we're going to see. But I feel good about everybody being able to participate in some capacity in the game on Monday night.
And I've got to touch back to the Peach Bowl game with Ohio State, Georgia, and Ohio State. You were on the sidelines there covering the game for WMAZ. I was in my living room and I was about to have a heart attack with Georgia in that Ohio State game. What a game!
Absolutely.
What a game! From your perspective, there in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, just give me your perspective on that game. I know you're a Georgia fan, obviously, but
Yeah.
you're a media guy, and
Right.
you try to be non-partial as you can be. But we all know we're homers. But what was that
Hmm.
game like with Georgia and Ohio State? Have you ever seen anything like that?
It's not. It really ranks up there, and I gotta say, maybe unpopular. I don't think it's unpopular decision. I think it's realistic because anybody who had eyes watch the game and can feel it. We as fans of Georgia, we've been here before. Nobody as a Georgia fan in red and black ever feels overly confident about
That's true.
any game because we've seen that movie before, right? So,
Right.
just watching the way the game played out, you just felt an eerie feeling to say this doesn't feel right. You know,
Right.
the way CJ Stroud was able to move the ball up and down the field, it just made you feel like maybe this isn't the year. Maybe this isn't for us, because they just played so well. I mean, Georgia played well too, and I think sometimes you kind of take it for granted because you see them play so well. You expect them to play well all the time. But one thing my dad used to always tell me is that the other team practices too. The other team is just as excited and wants to win. So I don't think that Georgia didn't play well. I think they went up against a great team. I think they went up against an Ohio State team that was better than advertised, and they were extremely talented on offense, and I think it showed. And so the one thing I think that everybody really has to give credit to and really respect is Stetson Bennett
Yeah.
on the big stage when the lights are on the brightest. He continues to shine and continues to do, what he's consistently done for the past 2 years or whenever he's, touched that football as a starter. And when it's all said and done, if he takes care of business on Monday night, they may have to make up room on that mantle for Herschel and Stetson for
Yeah.
sure,
Yeah.
because he will arguably be one of the best Bulldogs ever played.
And the movie's coming. I'm sorry, Marvin. The
Oh
movie
my
is
gosh!
coming. Yeah,
Yes, it is.
it,
We need
it
to find out who's going to play our role in the movie. That's
yeah,
who we need to.
absolutely. Yeah, we'll be bit players, but I've got, if Robert Redford is available, he can take my role or whatever.
I
But
like that. I like
yeah.
that. That's a good one.
Now, you're going to watch the teams practice. Of course, there's some time difference between Georgia and California. Are they going to be practicing at SoFi Stadium today?
Yes, sir.
Both teams will have their different times of practicing.
Yes.
That facility, SoFi Stadium, where the Rams play, and where the other team plays out in LA as well, the Chargers. That's quite a building, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I actually haven't had a chance to see it up close and personal. I'm looking forward to it today. Seeing it from the interstate was amazing. Everybody who's talking about it, because they've been able to do live shots from the outside of it. They say it has waterfalls and it's all the bells and whistles that you would love in a stadium. We got to go downtown today to see the Coliseum, which is a legendary landmark in Los Angeles. But yeah, I look forward to seeing what SoFi is all about, and just seeing the guys. I think the one thing I will give them credit for today, at Media Day, it's not always an easy thing for these guys. They really love the game of football. Some of them don't really like to talk a whole lot, outside of their friendships and stuff like that. But to see Stetson sit up there, rapid fire take an hour full of questions. Kirby, an hour full of questions. Muschamp, Christopher Smith, and Kenny McIntosh, and Jamon Dumas Johnson, the linebacker. They all went up there for an hour, and it's so many different people, so they're replaying the same questions over and over again, and they took them like champs. And I think that prepares them for not only the game of football, for the game of life.
Yeah.
To be able to do that.
Yeah.
So I think now, as we get closer to kickoff, things start lightening up a little bit. Tomorrow, we don't have any access with the team or the coaches tomorrow. I think we talked to Herb Street and Chris Fowler and those guys, Holly Rowe, as they get ready for the game. So now they're starting to get dialed in a little bit and locked in a little bit more because now it's almost game time.
Yeah, and I did see where Governor Brian Kemp from Georgia put out a tweet informing California of how important tailgating is. You know, I mean, the governor actually did that. He said, "Hey,
Oh, that's great.
California, as tailgating in Athens or in the South is as much a part of a football game as anything else is." And it's kind of interesting. What the reason is behind that, I don't know. But then I was thinking too, if you're in Georgia and you're flying to California for this game, what are you going to do? Carry your grill on the airplane? Uh, you
That's
know,
what that's what some of the fans were telling me, that they're not going to be too stressed about it. It is something different, but right, they don't have their grills and they don't have a lot of that stuff. But a lot of these guys, when you know how it is when you go to a game. You don't go to the game at kickoff. You go to the game 4 hours before the game, so you can
absolutely.
you can sit there and eat and fellowship and all that good stuff before the game. So yeah, they did say that that was one thing that they weren't going to allow to be a distraction.
Yeah.
And I think that at the end of the day, they're gonna always find a way. You always
Yeah.
find a way. Even if you have to order some barbecue chicken or get somebody to grill it beforehand, and that's part of the whole love of the game and the experience of it, is just to have that time before the game, and then get ready to go ahead and go to game time and kickoff. I think that's the thing that people love the most about it.
And it may be a security thing as well. It's a
I
high.
think it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is. You worry about all these people having all these, the spirits along with these
Right.
fire and all that good stuff. And city is a lot different. The parking is a lot different here in LA as it is to SEC school. This isn't Knoxville, or this isn't Athens. This isn't Auburn. It's a totally different thing. It's concrete jungle. It's a lot of differences. As opposed to having a lot of greenery and shrubbery like in the South. So I think that's what it's all about.
Yeah. So as we anticipate, Marvin James, by the way, with us, sports director, WMAZ, Channel 13 out of Macon, a heritage. I call it a heritage television station because it's been around forever. And
I love it.
Marvin's been doing a great job as the sports director there for some years, and we appreciate him coming on our program today. So as you look forward to the game on Monday night, Georgia, a 14-point favorite,
Uh-huh.
and I think that may have moved a little bit to 13 and a half, but basically a 14-point favorite in the game. You got an idea? You got a prediction you want to share with us about the game coming up?
I don't. I do a bad job of that. Um,
Yeah, I
I
do
just
too.
don't. It's just one of those things where when you come in and you kind of feel a certain way about a game, you feel overconfident.
Yeah.
Things don't usually go that way. Um, I think that it'll be a very close game. I think that it'll be a lot of talent on the field, even though TCU doesn't have the experience coming in. They're here now. They've got a pride in themselves, and they're gonna have a great leader and Max Duggan. And so I think that it's going to be great on both sides of the ball. And I think that Georgia, had a air quote down game last week. I don't think it's gonna do that again. I don't think they're gonna have another opportunity. I don't think they're gonna allow themselves to play down. I think they're gonna come out, a little hot, and I think they just have they know what's at stake, and I know it's a big historic opportunity for them, and I think they are ready to seize the moment.
One of the striking things about that in the aftermath of the Ohio State game last week, after the game, Holly Rowe that you mentioned was interviewing Kirby Smart, and he made the comment, and I was I was a little taken aback by it at the time. She asked him something about Stetson Bennett, and he said, "Well, Stetson Bennett's got to play better. He's got to play within our plan if we're going to win the game next Monday night." And I'm sitting there thinking, "Coach, come on, give me a break." The man just
Right.
again in the fourth quarter,
Yeah.
directed Georgia to a victory. But that's Kirby Smart, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
that's the way he is. That's his personality, right?
he's a genius. He knows what he's doing, and I think that's the thing about it is you never let a person get too high, never let them get too low. You always want to let them have a chance to improve, and I think that's where he keeps a lot of that guys, and I think that's what they see that in him. He is such a gym rat or a film rat. We saw what he was able to do with that timeout before that fake punt.
Yeah.
So he's so dialed in, and he loves these kids, and he knows how to coach them. You know how to jump on one versus the other. I think everybody's not cookie cutter. You just kind of know what to do. And so I think that's what he was doing. Is just like, hey guys, we can play better than this, and we know we can. Like you said, Stetson had the same stat line as almost identical as C.J. Stroud, except for the one interception. But everybody that you talk to says, man, C.J. Stroud played amazing, and Stetson, man, he just didn't play that well. So so much is given, much is required. So I think that's a compliment to Stetson, that they know that what he's capable of, and I think at the end of the day that they're going to be victorious on Monday, but it's not going to be an easy win.
Yeah, and how do you it's hard to wrap your head around this. I mean, Georgia wins for the first time in 40 years last year, the national championship. And now here they are on the brink with the possibility of winning a second one in a row, back to back.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody has posted, these are the good old days for the University of Georgia. I mean, I don't know how to put this into context in history. It's truly amazing the run that the University of Georgia is on. And I guess it'll take a few years or history for us to really appreciate what's happening, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing that I think, if you were a fan or, Frank Malone, my counterpart at NAZ, he's a Georgia grad in '80 and he was there when they won it during the heyday, so to speak. And after that died down, you talk to a person like that or somebody who's been a long time fan, they'll tell you, oh, we've had some lean years, we've had some, oh man, we were that close years, here we are, we're what, a game of inches. We're a second and 28 from being national champs in 2018,
True.
With Jake Fromm. So, we get close, but, no cigar, like I say. But, I think now, like you said, looking at it from a distance a little bit, people got to be really just, in 5 years or 6 years, what Kirby is able to do has been amazing. Yeah. And the future's just getting brighter because I don't know if anybody, after losing 15 off of that defense from last year, did anybody expect this?
Yeah.
I don't want to look too much further into the future, but, even without Stetson, we got a lot of good-looking boys out there in that quarterback room. Yeah. So it's just so much that the rich get richer, and I think that the program's heading in a great direction. And it's exciting to be a Georgia Bulldogs fan.
Something that brought that home to me this week was I saw a blog from a Florida Gator guy who covers the Florida Gators, and he put out a blog, 5 reasons why Florida fans should pull for the University of Georgia to win the national championship. And one of those reasons was this: the statistical chance of Georgia winning 3 national championships in a row is so small that Florida fans should pull for Georgia to win a second national championship. And I read that and I'm thinking, man, it's great to be a Georgia Bulldog these days.
Oh, it is. There's a lot of and if you notice, the whole, not saying the shift and not taking anything away from the great Alabama program and what Coach Saban has done for them, but it's the same shift, right? Now the team you love to hate and the team you want to see lose, like Bama, they still charge the field at Bama every time you beat them, no matter if they're a 2-loss team or a 1-loss team. They still tear down a goalpost, and that's what Georgia has turned into. People love to cheer against you, and not just your rivals. People like that whole thing. Tired of seeing Georgia always win. Yeah. So that's one of the things that you get once you start having a lot of success is that you got people that continue to root for you, and then you got some people that just don't want you to win anymore. But it's a good thing, good problem to have, and to win 3 in a row. I mean, we got to win 2 in a row first to get there. But next year ain't. Next year ain't. I'll just leave it like that. Next year is not going to be something that just that is going building season for Georgia. I'll say that. They got a lot of talent coming back.
Yeah, and they're stacking up with another recruiting class, I tell you. And but Marvin, we been talking, and not only is tailgating not allowed before this game coming up Monday, but seriously, you can't find sweet tea and you can't find grits. I mean,
Yeah.
seriously, I thought California was a civilized place. You can't find grits anywhere in
I
California.
haven't seen any. I haven't seen any of it yet. No, and it's been disappointing. They also have a lot of Pepsi products. You know, being in the South, we're
Yeah.
Coca-Cola people, so it's quite different. I know breakfast this morning they had some croissants and they do a lot of fruits, vegetables, and all that good stuff, which is good for you. But there's nothing like a bowl of hot grits for breakfast. Cheese grits that get you started on your day.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully I can find it, but I don't want any cream of wheat or porridge. I need grits. So
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll get on a mission for that in the morning.
Yeah, I don't even know what porridge is, but I know I don't want it. My goodness. All right. Marvin James, sports director for WMAZ 13 in Macon, Georgia, joining us from California. Marvin, thank you for taking time out of your busy time there to chat with us and talk with us about this game coming up on Monday night. We appreciate it. I know you're going to have a great time being there on the sidelines for the national championship game. You be safe out there, and we'll talk to you again real soon, okay?
Absolutely, sir. Anytime I can do anything for you and Matt, man, I'm all for it. You guys have been great to me and my family, and I appreciate all the support that you've done for me over the years.
Well, we appreciate it, and we thank you so much. Marvin James with us, and we'll be back with you here on Dogs on Demand on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter throughout the weekend, talking about this game coming up this coming Monday night. Until then, go Dogs.